Welcome everyone to our fourth episode of this LiveWire in this series. Really excited. There's going to be a really cool surprise feature I'll be showing you. So my name is Mohib Zara. I'm a developer evangelist here at SignalWire. And you might recognize Daniele, who's also joined us today. He did the first two LiveWire sessions on building this Zoom clone. So our first session, right, was building the basics of a multi-party video conferencing application. And then we went into adding room preview capabilities where you could see what was going on in the room before you joined, similar to how you might have seen this when you entered into the event space here. And then last session, I showed you how to integrate chat into your conferencing application. And today we're going to go into adding layouts and some of the other features of what you can do with SignalWire and our SDK and our API. And then I'm also going to show you a preview of our pre-built rooms, which is coming soon. So I'm going to short recap. This was what it looked like once you got chat built into your application from our last session. I've actually got a little video here to show you what that looks like. So you would join a room. And so that was what that looked like, right? And that was pretty straightforward. Right? We created a request where when we were joining a room, we would ask for a chat token for a room, and we'd say what channel, and that channel would say like what room ID you're in and whether or not you want to be able to read messages and write messages. And then that would bring back a token that would allow the client to subscribe and send and receive messages. So having done that recap, we're going to go into the code here. So we're going to switch to, and you'll get an example of what layout changes looks like when we switch here to, we're now in the watch party large layout. So layouts, let's just kind of walk through some of our docs real quick on how layouts work, right? Layouts are how SignalWire stitches together all these videos. So right, with SignalWire, you're not connecting one-to-one with each person in a video chat. So normal, typical conferencing applications, the way they work is you're creating a RTC connection with every single person on the call. So you're getting their feed, they're receiving your feed, they're receiving other people's feed. And so what SignalWire does is this MCU approach where everybody sends their stream out to SignalWire, and SignalWire puts everything together in a single layout and then sends it back as one stream. So this allows us to do, right, like allows us to scale to like, hundreds and hundreds of participants while being in a browser and not having to manage all these connections and worrying about loss of resolution or quality. So here in our developer site, we do have walkthroughs on how to fully implement layouts. And in the case of this demo and the sample application we're going to work on, we've already got an API, a backend built for you. But if you wanted to go deeper and like write your own backend and understand how that works, you can go to developer.signalwire.com, and it'll show you everything about how you need to set permissions, right? When you are creating a room token, you need to make it so that the person requesting the token actually has permissions to set room layouts or to list room layouts. Like in the case of this event right now, only a few people have access to change the layouts to this. And that's because, of course, if everybody had a chance to change the layout, then somebody could take away my controls over screen share. So we're going to go now to the code sandbox. So if we can make sure to drop that link one more time, I can also drop it here. There we go. Thank you, Shafali. So the links is there in the chat, and that will take you to a code sandbox that you can then fork, just like we've done in past sessions. And we're going to start in a file called, actually, in components under source, we're going to go to video.js. right? So Video.js handles all the functionality of using the SignalWire JavaScript SDK to create our room session and like set up all our video and devices. So in here, there's nothing to change in this specific block, but I just want to point out here, right? So when we're making our request to our video token, right, to the public backend that we've provided for this demo, there is a property called mod, and that stands for moderator, right? So the backend has a condition that if mod is set to true, it'll set permissions to control layouts. So this permission is applied if you're the person creating a room, you'll have moderator power. So you'll be able to change layouts, but then also you can have the option to invite somebody as a moderator to that room so that they can also change layouts and do other things like affect other participants and whatnot. So we're going to go down here. So we create that token, and then we create this room session, and this using that token. So this allows us to join the room and enter the room and whatnot. And we do a couple of things, right? We're creating these event handlers for when room is joined, when the member list is updated. But we're going to add another listener, and this is for when the layout is changed. So this will update the room layout option that we have, and this will make sense in a minute. So you can uncomment this, or you can go and type it out. For simplicity's sake, we'll just uncomment it. It's pretty straightforward, right? We're calling the room session object. We're saying on this event on layout.changed. We grab the event, and the event contains the layout and the name of the layout. Layouts are strings, and we apply it to onRoom update. And this is a function we'll get to in a second that updates the state that we use for all the UI elements. And then, so we added our layout changed, and then down here, we also need to fetch the layouts. So if you have the permissions, it'll fetch layouts. So we can uncomment that. That's let layouts. I'm creating a new variable here. Await, because it's an async function. Room session get layouts, and this function will return layouts. But this gives us an object with our layouts that are available for this room session, because some rooms might not have every layout available to them, or they might have special layouts. In the case of here for our events SignalWire application, we have different layouts than what are available publicly. And then one last thing we need to do in this file is we need to make sure to pass our layouts to our room initializer. So in here on line 88 or line 89, type layouts and then just a comma, passes layouts. That should be all we need to do in Video.js, and feel free to drop in chat if I'm going too fast or if I've missed anything. Next, we're going to go into Pages and InCall.js. And I want to quickly mention this LiveWire will likely be shorter than previous LiveWires, so we'll have plenty of time for questions afterwards. Now, in InCall, some things that are different from the previous LiveWire version of this application is, we're creating these variables here to store state. And this is just a particularly React thing. We're going to go down to the onRoomInit function, right? So that was what we were passing layouts to before in the Video.js, but now we need to make sure this also knows that layouts are coming through. So we'll also add on line 59 in the InCall.js file layouts. So now it knows to expect those, and we have a function here, set layouts, and it takes those layouts, and this affects our state. And then in onRoomUpdate, we've also added already, if we have these updated values come in. So this was the onRoomUpdate. that was in the event handler that we added in Video.js. It would call onRoomUpdate, and it would say, okay, we have these new layouts. So we need to set our current layout property. And now we're going to go into the HTML side of it, right? So this is React, and React returns HTML. So this is where we have all our components, and they have access to all the state. So if we scroll down, we should find on line 229. This is where we're actually adding an element, a select, basically just a select component that, it lists out the items and layouts. It has a placeholder text of select layout. It has the value of the current layout, which is applied in our state. And on change, like when you select something from that select menu, it will apply the new layout. And since this only shows up if you're a moderator, when you do this, you'll have the ability, you do have the permissions to set the layout. And that'll change the layout for everybody. So we're going to uncomment this by just removing what's on line 229 on line 245. And now we can save that file, Command S or Control S if you're on Windows. And that should now have applied that. So now we have everything ready to go. A moment. So now we've saved that, and so I'm going to just increase the text size so I can make this appear. So the way Code Sandbox works is it auto compiles the application you're working on and gives you this little preview window, and you can use it right in here, or you can actually grab the link and open it in another tab, and it'll open just like a website. And so I should be able to join a new room. Test. And I have to give it permissions. And it's picked one of my other virtual webcams. And if we look here, oh, it's not visible. Let me out a little. There we go. Should be able to see it better. If we look down here at the bottom, we have that select element, and it's got all the layouts. So the layouts, like I said, are strings. And if you wanted to set a layout, you would call that room session set layout with the string of that layout that you want. So you could say 8x8. And so obviously there's nobody else in this room, so it's just got one person in a block of 8x8. You can do full screen. There's screen share 2. There's all these different layouts that can allow you to make interesting experiences like we're using here right now. And now if I wanted to let somebody else come in and do that, I can hit invite, and there's a moderator invite, and that just passes a mod parameter, which then gets applied to that that request when we call for the token, where I said, that if we pass the mod flag, then the backend brings that back. And that's a particular thing for the backend that we've provided. If you're making your own backend, you can do that in a different way, right? Or you can make it only the users that you manage have set permissions to control layouts. So yes, I'm gonna copy this invite link and drop it in chat. And if anybody would like to that feature out, of course, we also have our chat box here. So yeah, look at that. Right now we have a, if you follow through with us, you now have your own conference room application that you can modify and customize, that allows you to change layouts, allows you to mute microphone. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself on there. Allow you to do audio changing, microphone changing, video, invite participants as moderator, share your screen, see the participants in a meeting, and chat with them through text. We built that through the last 4 sessions. So I think this is super powerful. It's super fun. And with that, I can show you a couple of other features, and then I'm going to show you the pre-built rooms. I'm going to leave this. I'll leave that room up. Also here, we have our previews, right? So it's a pretty powerful application here. We're going to go back into full screen. Some other things we can do, right? So if you go to our developer.signalwire.com webpage, we've got tons of guides on how to use different parts of our SignalWire SDK, from our real-time API to our client to our video SDK. And just looking through, right, if we look at the room session, these are all the different functions that we have. So it's more than just was someone not able to see the mod? We'll check that in a second. And so there's all these other things we can do beyond just screen share, layout changing, beyond chat. We can record meetings. We can get recordings back. You can even change the microphone volume. And all these things you can stitch together in ways that are useful to you, right? If you want to go real deep and make an experience that's super customizable, right? Where you're using, say, right, screen recording. So let's see. Let's go to start recording. So if we wanted to, all we need to do is add this function in somewhere in our application to start screen recording. So we could say, for example, go ahead and copy that. Or go back in the Sandbox. Now, we won't be building a button on this, but what we can do real quickly here is, right, when we look at when our room has begun. So, right, I'm going to increase this text again. This is the part of the LiveWire where I'm improvising. So we'll check, let's say, once we're joined, right? Since it's an await function, we know that once it's gone through, and we are joined. I can just add this here. And if I were to save that, it'll start recording and immediately stop. But I could take this out, right? So we're going to start recording as soon as the room begins. And then we could say, let's see, do we have an event? When we leave the room, stop recording. So that way, now there's these room recordings that we can then fetch from the API, or from the API or the SDK, right, where we can go and get recordings. And that way, you could have it whenever you join a room, record the meeting. Or if you want to give moderators only that option, right, we can do the same thing we did with the select dropdown and say, let's add in a way to start recording. Now, what if you don't want to go through and build all of this and work with the API, and you just need basic functionality, while also still having the option of being able to use all these awesome parts of our SDK? This is the fun part. I'm happy to demonstrate for you a new feature we've added that is not quite out yet, but I'm going to show you a preview in our staging, and that's pre-built rooms. So here I am on my SignalWire dashboard, and I can go into the video tab here, and pre-built rooms is right here. So this is basically a turnkey solution, creating rooms. So now I can just say, all right, let's create this pre-built room. All right, there we go. Sorry, my internet must have bugged for a second, but I'm back in here, and now I can create this room. So There's also room previews built in, so I can say enable room previews on this. And when something's going on, a preview will show up here. And I can join as a moderator, or I could join as a guest. And it's got microphone, it has audio and video built in, it's a leave feature built in, and it has a button to start recording or share screen. And the cool thing about that is you can just embed that anywhere you want. So I can copy this embed code, right? So we'll do a moderator embed code. I'm just going to copy that. And back in Code Sandbox, I'm going to create a new sandbox. And I believe there should be one for a basic HTML page. Yeah, so a static HTML website, right? So this is just basic HTML. And then all I'd have to do is in the body, add that. Look at that. I've now got built in. And that was all super quick, right? We did that in just not even a minute, really. And there's all these other options you can change on it. You can change the quality, you can change the size, you can say record on start, and then, of course, right, you can go to other parts of the dashboard and look at the recordings directly if you're in the dashboard, or you could use the API and build permissions around that. So if you wanted to build something where you can go and audit recordings, or if you're doing a series, if you're making your own event system, like we're using here, you could set it up where you make it very easy to find all these recordings of sessions that happened or breakout sessions. There's a question there about layout choices for the pre-built rooms. Not at the moment that I see. Oh, yes, right here, sorry. Yes, you can change the layout directly here. And like I said, because you have API access still, you could do that programmatically or change how that's done. And that's all built in here. And as moderator, you have controls for that. Yeah, that's what I have to show for today. If there's any, well, we can go into questions now. And also, I want to mention that the slide links are in the chat. And if there was any link you missed, those resources are there. Yeah, with that, feel free to unmute and ask us questions. Daniele is here with me. He's much more knowledgeable than I, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Hi, could I ask a question about the layout?
Yes, absolutely.
So in this layout, we can see that obviously there were a lot of options, but particularly in free switch where MCU is concerned, if more people were joining this conference, the layout was shifting in a way that it was, jumping from one to another. That's something that we also faced while building with FreeSwitch. So is there a solution that you have found to that problem, or how do you handle it? Basically, if like 100 people have joined it.
Daniela, you want to take this one?
The way we handle this is simple in a way, and good question, by the way. You have several categories of layouts. For example, you have a grid category of layouts, and you can choose to make this grid auto adjust based on the number of people in a room. So you could start, for example, with a 2x2 grid, just showing 4 people, and then as people come in or leave the room, the layout changes automatically. You don't have to do anything from the point of view of either the SDK or the pre-built room interface. You can handle this. Everything is handled automatically, so it's seamless.
So can we do it like this? Like if two participants are there, we can have like 1x2 or 2x2, something like that. But up to a maximum of like we'll only show 9 people and the rest will not be shown. Something like that, which is like imagine Google Meet would do.
Yes, I think this is possible. There is no way right now to specify this directly, but you can definitely using the SDKs that we provide, you can have a direct control on the layouts, and you can decide that after a given threshold, the layout is going to stop growing. So we'll get stuck with 100 participants or however much you want. Is this what you were asking?
Yeah, that was what I was asking. And thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I also want to mention we have a Slack community and if your question doesn't get fully answered today, or if you have more questions, you can always find us on there, and we're happy to help you out.